All right. I'm out here collecting elderberries, y'all. Let me see what, I don't know how, let me see. Okay. So, this kind of what you want to collect here. See how they all black? Y'all see I got decent pollination, really. Can y'all see that a couple of those are green? Here. About 4 of them is green. If it's just that few that's green, go ahead and get that. Now, if you had whole little sections that was green, just clip off the ones that are black, leave the ones that are green, and you come back later and get them. But you just want to kind of start on one side of your tree and just start on one side of your tree and work your way around. The birds then kind of, they pick me clean just a little bit. I should have come out here before. They've been ready for about a week and a half or 2 weeks. But I didn't come out here, and let me show you what I mean by the birds. See this here? See how it ain't but maybe 8 or 9 of them on there? Birds pick me clean. But them few, 2 and few, I'm gonna get. And on your elderberry, just bend your limb down. Don't be scared. Just bring this stuff on. If you break out a limb, if you know anything about the elderberry, this sucker ain't gonna care. You can see I just broke that one. I ain't worried about it. You can either, if you break limbs, sell them as cuttings or plant them. And you'll have another elderberry. You hear? So don't be scared. These things, if I was you, if you trying not to get them to take over your yard, I'd cut them back anyway. So I wouldn't care if they broke. You only have to do all this bending down when your stuff is this big. See what I mean? If your stuff is little, you won't have to do all this bending the branches down and cutting and carrying on. But when it's tall, and anybody got an elderberry know, they grow. Oh my God, I don't know how many feet. This thing probably done grew 20, 30 feet. This is what I clipped off this year. So don't y'all be afraid to if your stuff break or whatever the case may be. And these limbs, they also grow out and over so far. But yeah, if they're green, don't get those. It's okay to have maybe a couple of the green ones, but you don't want a whole lot of them. Y'all, this elderberry, when it's green, like when those berries are green like that, they poison. And I just find that interesting that a lot of people don't bring up that you can't eat elderberry raw. Everything in the world ain't intended for you to eat raw. How many of y'all knew this? When you eat spinach and you don't cook it, you don't get most of the nutrients because your body can't break that spinach down like that. That's another reason why I ain't really into growing spinach like that. I'm not saying it's bad for you, but it's not bad for you, but you got to cook it. So those of y'all eating raw spinach, you cancel that because you ain't really getting all of what you supposed to get. The main stuff, you ain't getting that stuff if you eating it raw. Now, if you cooking it, you getting what you supposed to get. So understand that about foods. That's why when they talk about raw food diets for a human, that doesn't make sense. Because our stomachs are not like cows, goats, gorillas, rabbits, whatever. Our stomachs are not like that. Understand that, yeah, they're mammals, but they, like for instance, a cow is a bovine. Gorillas and rabbits are actually very similar in the way that they digest, meaning that they digest, they poop it out. They eat that poop and then digest it again. That should let you know there that even they aren't getting it all the first go around, because they go back and do, and you see what I'm saying? lot of people don't know that about rabbits and gorillas and things. But I knew that because I had rabbits as a kid. I had 2 rabbits, and I didn't know they did that until I owned rabbits. They're still cute. You know, they're lovable. They're great. But then that's also part of the reason why when you get rabbit manure is not hot. It's been digested twice, y'all. That's why rabbit manure, you can put it direct on your garden. Ain't got to worry about nothing. That's part of the reason. See what I'm saying? So yeah, that's why I say, you know, raw food diets don't make sense for humans, because I don't know no human gonna eat their crap and digest it again. It's also you get sick like that too. It's how you get E. coli. So I see some way up young. Way up young. Let me see if I can get these. I see 1 cluster left. Way up young. Now actually I see about 3 more clusters. I'm gonna try to get this sucker. What branch is he on? I'm at the body that ass down. He on a branch over here. Let me get up in here. See, can I get to it? Oh yeah. I don't know if y'all can see that. Get that out the way. Bring him down. Y'all see how I'm doing? Just get there where you can reach it. Bring him down. Don't leave none of your good stuff up here. This a big old umbra. Look at all that. Bird, pick me clean. Ain't nan one on that. Nan one. This one here decent though. It's decent. It got some little green in there. I'm gonna get them out of there. Okay. Y'all, I was picking already before I even come on here. I was picking already. And I didn't show y'all that, but y'all don't mind me. I'm just looking and cutting if it's anything else for it to be cut. I mean, this ain't got but 2 berries on it. 2. Okay. I believe we cooking with fish grease. And I do believe we making get somewhere and sit down now. I want to sit back here because it's cool. But y'all know, sometimes it's hard for me to sit back here because the witch-coming run me out from back here, the mosquito. We're going to see, can I sit? These mosquitoes go to flying. I'm going to have to move around. Like I said, I want to stay back here. It's cool back here. It's 80 something odd degrees this morning. 86, I believe that's what it said when I walked out the house. I believe that's what it said. Let me turn y'all where y'all can see. So this is my bucket with all the umbras I picked. Then here go this other bucket. This is empty. Okay, so now we got some, let me see. Now we got some work got to go on. Okay, so you want to get your umbras. I'm gonna get one that got a lot of black on it, cause that's where it's supposed to be. When you got green, you're gonna have to pick around them. But just take and gently, see there? Take and just gently pull them out. You ain't trying to juice them with your hand. You be gentle. If you ain't never been gentle before, you're gonna have to learn how to be gentle today. Cause like I said, you don't want to just grab them and mash them all up. I don't think it'll too much hurt anything. But see, you see how the purple, if you do too much mashing, you're gonna be purple probably for a week. That ain't really a big deal to me. I don't really care. But if you just kind of taking, they pop off. They pop off, okay? And you just want to get all your elderberries off. Now when they fresh like this, you can do a number of things to process them. Because remember when I told you raw, these things is poisonous. I don't know if they kill you. It probably depend on how much you eat. But they will make, oh shoot, I'm losing my cotton picking mine. I thought it was a spider. Be careful too, because these things will have bugs in them too. Sometimes. Be little spiders and things in your tree. When you be plucking your elderberries, be looking and be paying attention that you ain't pulling, when you're pulling those limbs down and stuff, make sure you ain't pulling no spider down right to you. See what I'm saying? So y'all be paying attention when you're doing this stuff, okay? But anyway, it's a number of ways you can prepare these elderberries. What I'm gonna do is dehydrate them. And I'm doing that because that's a little bit quicker operation for right now. Because I don't want to make syrup right now. Because yesterday, it was 98 degrees. If you think I was turning on somebody's stove in my house, and it was 98 degrees, you lost your elderberry picking mine. I wasn't turning on no stove in my house yesterday. Now if I had to cook, that's a different story. But just making elderberry syrup and I ain't sick right now. Now don't worry, y'all. I'm gonna make my syrup. But you see what I'm saying? I wasn't finna have my air conditioner running 90 to nothing, cause I got the stove on. So, cause at any given time, I'm trying to conserve. I ain't trying to just be out here spending as much as I can just cause I can. Cause I know how some people think, oh, I can pay the light bill, just let it run. Yeah, I can pay the light bill too. But that's wear and tear on your equipment too. You tear up your air conditioner, see how much it costs you to replace it. Just watch what I'm telling you. Running your air 90 to nothing. My daddy used to do that, but see, my daddy, he figured that out and he got licensed in HVAC then. So it didn't, you know, I don't know if y'all know this or not, but shoot, you can go buy your HVAC system for $2,000. Don't cost you nothing. The thing, what they charging you for is all that install and all that kind of thing. That's what they charging you for. So you have to be careful when you got skills. A lot of people don't understand skills pay for themselves. And they pay for themselves faster than you think. Because I'm telling you, if you learn how to lay tile or something, if you lay tile in your own house, you just saved yourself some thousands of dollars. Real talk now. If you learn basic plumbing techniques, the one time you need to use those skills, you probably saved yourself hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, depending on what you got going on. And let me tell you something. Now is the time to be learning this stuff, because I'm here to tell you, I got a feeling a whole lot of people ain't going to be able to do a whole lot of things. This stuff keep going the way it's going. Your money going to be funny. And then let me say this too, your money get real funny and you got skills, guess what? You can barter at that point. You can't barter when you don't know nothing, can't do nothing. You can't manipulate or move around and do nothing. That's why when you're rich, a lot of times they don't know how to do anything. Because they rich, they ain't got to know how to do nothing. They got the money. When you ain't got no money, you better know how to do something. Because it don't make sense. Wait a minute. And like I said, it could be any little task. You never know when this stuff may come in handy. By the way, all these little umbrels, the little stem parts, y'all, I'm going to compost all that. Don't let nothing get away from your property the way you ain't making compost. More power to all these people that want to keep making Lowe's, Home Depot, and all them rich. I ain't making them people rich. Make my own doggone soil, where I know what's in it and where it came from. And I ain't got to haul it and all this. At least I ain't got to haul it no more than from one side of my yard to the other side. Y'all see what I'm saying? So y'all be making sure, even when you getting the little stuff like this. Don't let that plant matter get away from you. I don't understand the person that ain't got no compost pile. Watch me move around, because I believe I just saw one of them more vampires. I believe I saw one. I'm gonna move around. I ain't playing. But they ain't that bad, y'all. I wanted to talk to y'all about this here too. If you remember me saying something about they had been spraying real heavy in the neighborhood, because I water at night, y'all. I waters at night, and the man be coming with the little truck, be spraying for the mosquitoes. They ain't stopped spraying, but they done slowed down with the spraying. So they was spraying every week. They not spraying every week no more. Look like they done gone to spraying every 2 weeks. But I'm gonna tell you what showed up, and this is how I know that spray had a lot to do with why I didn't have a whole lot of y'all see me going back in here getting this little bit of stem out. This stem ain't no good for you either, people. That stem poison too. And like I said, a little bit of stem probably ain't gonna hurt you. So you have to be careful a lot of time when you get poison. Just like you can be exposed to arsenic. A little bit of arsenic ain't gonna kill you. It's a certain amount of arsenic. Got to go up over, it's got to do with your body weight. The more you weigh, the more arsenic it's gonna take. Let me not talk about that too much. Y'all will be out here plotting to kill folk. But yeah, like I was saying, they done slowed down on the spraying. And the spraying look like they done went to maybe twice a week. That's what it looked like to me. No, excuse me. Once every 2 weeks. I'm saying that wrong. They were spraying every week. Look like they done half that. They're spraying every 2 weeks. And guess what showed back up in the garden, people? And this how I know that spraying ain't I mean, it kind of helped me a little bit, but they ain't no good for the environment. The butterflies. I kind of figured I hadn't really been up on my BET hard as BET, Lord Hammer, my BT spray. I hadn't been spraying that a lot this year, but I wasn't getting a ton of damage. I was getting a little damage, but the wasp was able to keep up with the worms, which that's not really normal. Usually I have so many butterflies and worms and things, them wasps can't even keep up. Well, the wasp was keeping up this year. They was like, the worms get on there, it didn't take long, the wasp be done ate up all the worms. And I could see those wasps. They were flying over my stuff, you know, like surveying, like little drones. You see them flying, and you see they looking for stuff. And when they find a worm, they light down and go to eating them. Because I don't know if y'all noticed, them wasps feed them worms to their babies. When they go back to their nest, they feed those worms to their babies. Just like how mother bird bring worm back to her baby, wasps do the same thing. So, boy, I'm finna, every time I see them vampire. But y'all, now that they done started spraying every 2 weeks, I'm actually, I hadn't even been seeing, I used to regularly see those big black and blue butterflies. I used to regularly see the black and orange butterfly. I used to regularly see the little white, the cabbage moth. I used to regularly see, Child, this year I ain't been seeing them things and the man in the moon. I'm telling you the truth. I hadn't been seeing them. And so I knew that, I kind of felt like that spray might have been the reason. But when they slacked up on spraying as much, and now I'm seeing them son of a guns a little bit more. But I believe I heard that man last night after I went to sleep. I'm saying after I went to sleep, but y'all, I sleep kind of light. If I hear something that I don't normally hear, that'll wake me up. Like if anything, it don't matter. If it's not a normal sound to me, that will wake me up. And look like I heard that thing last night. Yeah, and it was driving through the neighborhood. Look like I heard him last night. But yeah, y'all, that old spray, I guess it's good in one way. I ain't had a lot of butterfly damage, but shoes. We need the butterflies too. They do pollinate. That's why I say I don't hate butterflies. I just hate the doggone babies. If they would just be butterflies, that ain't the stage where they be hurting everything. And the butterflies, when they lay them doggone babies, they baby work on my nerve. The regular butterfly be fine, because I saw one out there pollinating yesterday. I saw a brown one with a white spot on his wings. I never seen that before. I don't know what kind it was. Y'all have to forgive me. I don't stop. If it's a bug, I ain't got to stop to try to look and see. If it's a butterfly or something, like, you know, a moth, I ain't finna stop and see what that is. I know some people be real enthused. But here, y'all just educate me, cause I ain't got time to stop be doing that. I got to go to work. I got to work out here. I ain't got all the time in the world to stand around and don't work. But yeah, y'all, I don't know. But anyway, I was talking about processing these. I'm gonna dehydrate these at first, and then I'm gonna make my elderberry syrup. Or, you know, I'm gonna make it later. I'm not gonna wait too late to make it, but I'm be honest with you, I ain't gonna lie to you, I ain't making it today now. I ain't making it today. That ain't gonna happen. All right. And like I said, I try to go back in here. I'm trying not to let too much stem. You're gonna have some stem go down in there, but I try not to let too much stem be in there. It's okay if you got a little, but you don't want a lot of this stem. You know, this is another reason why I'm finding it so interesting that they don't say too much about these elderberries and how you can't eat them raw. But the people scared of poke salad like it's going out of style. And I'm trying to understand what is that about. Y'all have to understand this. When they rail against something so hard, it's a reason why. It's a reason why. I believe that poke probably got the power to heal a lot of stuff. They just ain't telling nobody nothing. And the people sit up here and, you know, tell you it's going to kill you. Now, like I said, it's one thing if you don't want to prepare it. I get it. Some people don't want to do the extra work. I totally get that. But just be honest and say that's what it is. You see what I'm saying? These people that just, you know, child, I don't even know how to say. I'm scared. Child, please. Scared of what? Scared of being healthy? And like I said, I know some people and I ain't always telling you just believe what you see and hear on the internet. Yeah, my granny did eat pork, and she lived to be, you know, up in her 90s and relatively health-free. But let me say this too. A lot of that was because of preventative health measures. So she was eating the pork and stuff like that as a preventative. And not only that, that was just their culture. That was something they grew up eating and foraging. You can find pork, it's free, you know. And like I told you, my granny grew up in a depression. Now, I will admit my great-grandmother knew about pork. She didn't eat it nearly as much for the simple fact that she never really had to do a lot of foraging because she was never really broke like that. She wasn't rich, but she wasn't broke. You know, once she got married and her and her husband had their own land and they were working the land and they had cows and chicken and pigs and stuff. They didn't, it's nice today. This little breeze, it's nice today, y'all. Anyway, they didn't hurt for nothing. Like I said, by the time the Great Depression came along, my grandmother was almost 40. My great-grandmother was almost 40. And like I told y'all before, you know, when they was teaching us about the Great Depression, and I see that's the thing. When your kids when they teaching y'all kids this stuff in school, have them go ask somebody that. Now I know that, you know, it ain't many people left that's gonna remember the Great Depression. I don't think. I think a lot of because that means those people are in their 90s. But if you know some 90-year-olds, doggone it, they probably do remember. Get with them before they get gone, because these people is getting out of here. And I keep telling people that. And when you see an elder, you don't sit down and talk to them. You don't engage them. You just be around here just, you know. And I wouldn't say just about American history. If they ain't from America, get some of this other history. But yeah, like I said, my great-grandmother said they didn't have to do a lot of foraging. Because they had their own land, they were living off the land, and they had cows and chicken and pig and things like that. And if they needed something, they'd either barter or, you know, do some kind of work or whatever. Because my grandfather knew how to cure and smoke meats and do all that kind of thing. So just like if other people had, see, that was the difference between my grandfather, my great-grandfather, and I never met him, but because he died in 76, I want to say. He died almost 10 years before I was born. So, but I think I'm like him in a lot of ways. I believe in having a lot of skill, because in case something happens, I ain't got time to be fooling with Negro. Negro be around here fooling. Let me tell you something. There's certain stuff people ain't gonna stop doing. They got cow, chicken, and pig, but they don't know how to cure the meat. Okay, I know how to cure it, because they're gonna have to come to some doggone body, because they're gonna have to preserve that meat. See, that was his thought pattern, and my thought pattern is something similar. I keep a set of skills on me, because you don't never know what somebody might need. And if they need it, I'm more inclined to say, I know how to do that for a price. See what I'm saying? I ain't playing with Negro. I ain't trying to really be indebted to nobody if I don't have to be. Because when I tell y'all I'm hustling to pay that mortgage off like it ain't no tomorrow, I mean that. See, some people like being in debt. I don't. All them car notes and things. Hell no. Every car I got paid off. And every doggone one of them run too. So, you know, and not only that, you think about that to a point. Some people don't understand this here. My daddy kind of taught me this. You got one car that sucker break down. What you supposed to do, stand there and not move? You gonna put your car in the shop and okay. You better have you a little something over to the side. Where if your car break down, it ain't gotta be nothing fancy. Get your little cash card and set to the side. Drive that sucker every now and again, even if that ain't the car you want to drive every day. Drive that sucker every now and again. And I'm gonna be honest with you and tell you might want to get your small to medium-sized truck if you ain't got one. Cause I'm here to tell you, people will pay you to move their stuff. Woman come on the thing yesterday talking about, is there anybody can help move a piano? I said, how far you going? The woman wasn't going, but I think a mile and a half. You think I didn't go make that $40 right quick? I told the lady I'd charge you $40. See what I'm saying? Don't pay to not have nothing where you can't move your little stuff. Even if you got a little SUV or something. Some people dead set on cars, boy. I can't. I don't get me wrong, I drive a car. My daily driver is a car. My truck, I drive it, but I usually drive my truck when I need to. Like, for instance, if I'm going to the auction and I think I may pick up something, I got to have the truck because I need to be able to load it up. See what I'm saying? But yeah, I do drive it, but you know, it ain't an everyday thing for me to drive my truck. Damn things so big you can't hardly park it nowhere. Well, you can park it, but you get what I'm saying. People don't respect it. When you see somebody in a big ass truck, don't park right up next to them. It's not that they can't drive, but just understand people be so stupid. They think trucks drive like cars. They don't. Their turning radius ain't the same. You know, and then when you come out from the grocery store and your mirror took off and you wonder why, well, you parked in that duelist dope. You know what I'm saying? You parked all up on top of him. So instead of him worrying about waiting on you to come out, he left and took your mirror with him. I ain't saying it's right. I'm just saying that's what people do. You know, we live in that kind of time. Some of these ones that ain't hardly got no berries on them, it make you not even want to fool with these suckers. To a point. Look at these vampires. They see me. When I look down, them suckers fly off. I was getting ready to kill that bad boy. I got you. You keep playing with me. I ain't the one. Quick Draw was my name in a previous life. But yeah, y'all, between the skills, and not only that, if you own a house, you shouldn't be hiring people to forever do everything at your house. Y'all better know how to do a little something. You shouldn't be hiring people every time you look up. You got to hire a fleet of people to do something. It's okay for you to tackle certain stuff around your house. Now, if you renting, and you know, I ain't gonna lie, get all you can out your landlord cost. The way landlords is nowadays, you be lucky if they fix anything. They'll raise your rent before they fix anything. That's why I'm so glad to not be renting no more. I know you have to do what you have to do. But please, people, let me say this here too. I was on Instagram, and boy, when I tell you, people so stupid when it come to history. These people trying to take this country back to 18 whatever. You better understand what this country was when it was 18 whatever. If you wasn't a land-owning person, and yeah, the men, it was more weight on the men than the women, meaning men are, you know, especially white men, they had unlimited rights, unlimited. They could treat anybody around them like property as long as they own land, meaning they could even treat their wife like property if they want to. They could rape their wife, beat their wife, whatever. That was in the law. They could do it with no repercussion. Y'all, they trying to go back to that, so let me help you out. The few little black folks that was able to excel and do what they needed to do, you want to know how they was able to do it? Through land ownership. You better buy something, even if it ain't got no house on it. Even if it's a vacant spot of land. You better buy something, cause here in a minute, them gonna be the only people gonna have some rights around here. Cause I'm telling you, they trying to go further and further and further with this foolishness. You better own something. And if you know like how I know, you better try to buy a little something or get a little something, you know. Like I said, even if it's a vacant piece of land that you ain't doing nothing with. Because they want this stuff to go back. Little little sweet ants on me. They want this stuff to go back to pre-Civil War time. And only somebody that had rights then. Because I'm going to be honest, the only women that kind of had a little bit of rights, they didn't have a ton, will say their daddy didn't have no boys and they ain't have no choice but to leave their land and their assets and things to their daughter. That woman had a little, because a lot of people ain't going to tell you, some of these plantations, the man wasn't always the owner. He married a daughter that inherited her daddy's plantation. See what I'm saying? That's when a woman became valuable. When she had some land attached to her. And then she had a little bit more leeway and a little bit better way of doing things. And I don't want to hear nothing about, wait a minute. What is this flying around me like this? Is so angry. Y'all ever been stuff be flying and just sound angry. Anyway, and that sucker was yelling, but it looked like some kind of haunted or something. But he went on. I'm getting ready to leave, y'all. Y'all finna get tagged. I'm gonna let him bite y'all. They ain't gonna bite me. I'm gonna get out of here. Me and the elderberry, gonna get left. Everything gonna get left. But anyhow, like I said, be careful. When they want to go back to these old, you have to know who was in power. The few little black people that had a little power, especially them ones they always were trying to mess with and go massacre and tear up their towns, they was landowners, business owners, things of that nature. They had a little bit of power. See what I'm saying? So, and that's still on the books. Property 9/10 of the law. Just keep on. Y'all better purchase something other than a car. You better purchase something. And then even if you purchase your little vacant piece of land, plant something on it. Work that land a little bit. You may have a little bit more spot to. And like I said, even if you got land, depending on what you buy, even if you buy vacant land, you can rent it out to a farmer or somebody who want to work the land. It's a chick here, ain't got no land, but she ain't got no money to buy no land, but she wanted to rent something. She rented an acre from somebody, 1 acre. I hear the girl making it pop off. I need to go around there and see what she talking about. Go around there and see what she working with. Because she sound like my type of person. But y'all stay vigilant. If you are growing anything in your yard and maybe you don't know all of your on your balcony, wherever you're growing, you may not know all the properties of it. Try your best to find out what the properties are, because I'm telling you, these medications ain't gonna get no cheaper. Pharmaceutical companies been the worst companies that America's had for a long time, and they know it and don't care. They love taking your money, because I've been trying to figure out why the people, like I said earlier, so hell-bent on not telling you nothing about when you go online, you see a little somewhere say don't eat elderberry raw, but they don't say nothing about the stems is poisonous, all this different stuff is poisonous. But they still be talking about, I'm just trying to tell you, I ain't trying to be no dead, but they still keep talking about how this poke will kill you. You know how much poke you gotta eat to kill you? It'll give you diarrhea if you don't prepare it right, but 9 to my 10 ain't gonna kill you. Now it may kill the infant, but like I said, I strongly believe that got something to do with people not wanting people to have some good preventative medicine. Because like I said, my granny used to eat huckleberries and eat poke and eat all this different stuff, and I be thinking about that. If you look at a lot of this stuff, this look just like almost like pokeberries. When the seed get up on, look just like this here. All this stuff with this color in it, you know. And yeah, you may be a little bit of preparation, but you know. But like I said, preventative health, y'all. Try to prevent stuff before it happens. Also pay attention to your family lineage. A lot of times your family, if your family had issues with certain stuff, you probably gonna have those issues. For instance, both my parents did not have 20/20 vision. They were not blind, but they didn't have 20/20 vision. Both of them wore corrective lenses. What sense do it make for me to sit up here and think I'm not going to need corrective lenses? You see what I'm saying? What sense does that make? It doesn't make any sense. So if both of your parents had something going on, it's wise for you to understand you probably going to have that. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't necessarily tell people to buy into some of these different fads and different things they tell you. They tell you the most craziest stuff. For instance, gotcha. I ain't playing with these mosquitoes today. For instance, when they talk about raw food diets and things like this. Wait a minute. I think I said this before, but humans aren't gonna do what a gorilla do or a rabbit do in order to be able to digest their food. We're not bovine. We're not cows. We don't have 4 chambers to our stomachs. I forget what else got 4 chambers. I want to say goats. But several of these different animals have more than 1 chamber. I got news for you. You not finna. That's why a cow can get protein out of grass. Y'all ever wonder, like, when people say, oh, cows eat grass, look at how muscular they are. They also got 4 chambers to their stomachs, you idiots. The people who say this dumb stuff, you can tell they failed the science class, or they went to a trash school. One of the two. Cause who don't know that these animals, yes, we're mammals, but it's differences on the inside. Like, the idea that you don't understand that. The day humans will be able to eat grass and get protein from grass is crazy. And why am I saying something about protein? Because you need protein. That's why. A lot of these people, they want to tell you, like, I'm not trying to be funny. I forever believe that people who, now, am I saying I believe in the Atkins diet? Nope. Sure am not. But these people who want to constantly tell you, don't eat no meat, it's unhealthy to eat meat. Okay, let me say this. Is the meat processing the way it should be? Hell no. It's not. All these antibiotics and stuff they putting in the food, is that fabulous? Hell no, it's not. But let me be all the way real with you. Some people live in areas where they actually have access. Blood going everywhere. Good God. They have access. Like, if you're in a fairly populated area and you don't stay in a very rural area, you probably got access to good meat. You just ain't went look for it because you don't feel like it. Like, that's too much of an inconvenience to you. But then what's the alternative? You're not going to eat enough meat and compromise your body? Because say what you want, protein is your muscles, and the older you get, you do not need to lose no muscle. If you want to know why elderly people struggle to get up off the couch, it's because their muscles have atrophied. And when you get past menopause, it gets worse. Same thing with men. Once they get past the age of 40, their testosterone starts dropping off. Now, it's not too bad if your testosterone, it's ways you can slow down dropping out, your testosterone dropping off too. Certain exercises will do that. But then, you have certain people, they don't want to exercise. Don't even get me started on that. Like I said, I'm talking about preventative health. Man, those of y'all that don't want to exercise, but you talking about you gonna eat flawlessly, I hate to say it now, you not finna eat flawlessly. You full of S. Because do you know how hard it is to eat flawlessly? Very hard. But you actually can negate some of this stuff you eat through exercise. So, like I said, you're going to not eat meat. Is you going to eat enough beans and legumes and stuff for you to get enough protein? Because, see, I don't think people understand how many beans, legumes, and stuff you got to eat just to get enough protein. Like, real talk, when it comes to beans, you almost have to eat 2 pounds of beans damn near every day if you're not going to eat no meat. Real talk now. I'm talking about just to maintain. I ain't talking about the build muscle. I'm talking about to maintain. Like, I don't think people understand how much protein you need. And I know people go, I don't need that much protein. Yes, the hell you do. Because I got news for you. The minute y'all ever get hungry and be like, ooh, I'm hungry, I want a little snack. By the time you feel yourself getting hungry, your body has already been metabolizing muscle. Like, you have to get to a certain point when your body is finally like, okay, you feel the hunger pains. By that time, your body has already been metabolizing muscle. What does that mean? It's been eating your muscles. And like I said, for those that, you better get enough protein in you. Because you mean to tell me you don't never be like, ooh, I need a little snack or something. Because most people don't eat like that. They don't eat 5-6 times a day. The only people eating like that is really bodybuilders. Like, yeah, they do that. But y'all want to know why they doing that? Because they don't want their body to eat their muscle that they working hard to put on. That, like, it defeats the purpose. You can't compete like that. So, these are basic principles. Like, and like I said, I don't think some people understand how much meat you got to eat. And then understand that some proteins hit harder than others. Some proteins are better muscle builders than others. I think some people don't understand that either. So what am I saying? Eat a balanced diet and quit tripping. Now, let me be the first to tell you, I don't get enough protein on a day-to-day. I really don't. I could stand to up my protein by 50 grams a day. But I'm going to be honest and tell you, it's hard for me to eat that amount of food. That's another thing. I'm not one to force food. And sometimes that's what you end up feeling like you're doing, because protein is very filling. And like once I get to a certain point, I just feel like I'm just forcing myself to eat. It's like, what the hell? You know what I'm saying? But if my strength stays decent, which I'm 40 now, so if my strength stays decent, I'm okay. It's if my strength starts to fall off, I'm really gonna make some adjustments. But I won't lie, y'all, when I cook, I try to figure out ways to get more protein in my food. Like if something calls for sour cream, I usually use Greek yogurt. Like, I'm gonna just be all the way real with you, because Greek yogurt has more protein in it. I can't stand cottage cheese, but I've been trying to entertain eating more cottage cheese because of how much protein is in it. Like, and I don't think y'all understand, protein ain't just muscles. Protein is also your connective joints, like your collagen. Like, those collagen is protein. I think some people negate how much of that collagen you're gonna get out of collagen. The main way you have to get it is through meat. It's not a lot of vegetables and stuff, other than if you're gonna take a supplement, which I take a collagen supplement, because I have no desire to feel my joints. I have no desire to pull stuff, tear stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have a desire to do all that. It's just not, it's, child, that pulling and tearing stuff, like when you, I'm telling y'all, when my back cut up the way it cut up, real talk, I had quit. Yeah, I had fallen off for taking my collagen. I really did. And I'm not saying that was the only thing. There was some other things that I was negating as well. Like I told y'all before, try not to bend over so much. Like, so many people, they bend over too much. Try to stoop down, bend at the knee. That's another thing, your mobility. If you don't work your mobility, you'll lose it. You really will. You will lose it. And that's how you also atrophy a lot of muscle in your legs and stuff. You never stoop down, because when you stoop down, what you got to do, use your legs to press up. See what I mean? It's a bunch of little stuff. It's not really big stuff you got to do. So preventatively, be thinking about these things. And I'm not saying you got to work out, you know, the way I do. The way I do is a bit, I don't know. I played sports. I was very competitive. So lifting weights don't bother me. But I also know that lifting weights keeps you healthy too. Like, I know a lot of women don't understand that. I think men do, but I think some of these men don't give a damn. And they just rather be fat and loathsome. But no, lifting weights helps to keep, number one, your blood flow. So when you're lifting weights, your blood flow increases. And a lot of what you eat is in your bloodstream, but it'll never get to your muscles or it'll never get to your extremities or anything else if you don't increase blood flow to a certain level. You see what I'm saying? That's why I say your body is not meant to sit still or be idle. That's just not really how we designed. Society will tell you that it's okay for you to do all that. I got news. If you got a sedentary job, please do something, anything to try to move. And I know I'm probably preaching to the choir because I'm talking to a lot of gardeners, and y'all probably are moving. But in case somebody see this that ain't moving, please try to do the best you can and keep moving, because being broke up, like for instance, I went somewhere and it was some 40-year-olds talking about they knees and stuff. I looked, I said, y'all 40. Like, y'all make on like y'all 100. Like, being broke up at 40 is not the look. Just, if anybody, it's not the look. And I'm not, and keep in mind, I want people to understand, I'm not talking about people who, like, for instance, some people really do have degenerative things going on with their joints or bones or things. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you lazy and you fat. When we was in school, you halfway, you know, was decent, and then I haven't seen you for 20 years and you put on 300 pounds. You get what I'm saying? Like, and then you come talking about your needs. Yeah, because your body wasn't designed to carry that much weight. Like, I don't, so that's who I'm talking about. So I want to be very clear. I don't want nobody to think I'm trying to throw people under the bus and you know, talk shit about people. But nah, you got to do what you got to do to stay healthy, y'all, because I'm telling you, these medications, they're not gonna make them no cheaper. Matter of fact, they probably gonna make them more expensive so they can get more money. Right now, we all about the top 1%. Who y'all think that 1% is? People at the pharmaceutical companies. And I ain't talking about the researchers. I'm talking about the CEOs and all them. Because the researchers comparatively ain't making no money either. So, y'all be on top of your stuff. That's why I told myself, I said, I got to come out here and get these elderberries. Not only that, y'all see I'm processing outside. I'm not saying you got to do everything outside, but it don't hurt. This sunlight is good for you to a certain extent. I'm in the shade now. I ain't telling you to go bake in the sun. I ain't telling you to do that. Because I don't even believe in suntan, and I believe that's toxic. Well, but see, that's artificial light too. That's another. And we ain't going to get on that. That's something else. But yeah, all that. I don't really believe in that tanning on the beach business. To me, that's stupid. But whatever. Anything you want to do to try to look like a black woman, all right. But you don't want to be now a black woman. You just want to lay out there and look like one. Or your best imitation of one. But, yeah. So, I'm working through this little bucket, y'all. I'm working through this little bucket. I don't know how many minutes we on. I just been talking and talking, running my mind. There's some new people across the street. Y'all remember where the meth heads was staying? It's a couple over there now. Ooh, pray God. They seem like they got some sense. Cause so many people ain't got no sense. They quiet, they keep to themselves. So nice. So nice. But like I said, hopefully y'all will continue to keep getting your medicine and continue to keep growing whatever you need to grow. And it wouldn't hurt. And keep in mind, a lot of these pharmaceuticals, they ain't nothing but the synthetic version of the natural stuff. That's why they have a lot of side effects, to be quite frank. I think that's part of just when humans make stuff, we just tend, when humans try to copy nature, we're not good at copying nature. You will never beat nature. You will never win. I don't care what you think you're going to try to do. You can try your best, but you'll never be able to copy it. And a synthetic version is not going to be the same. And then you wonder why you're going to get so many side effects. So y'all try to grow something that, just in case, if you need to do the herbal remedy, and I'm going to keep harping on preventative health too. Try to prevent some of these ailments. Try to watch some of your food intake and what you're eating, and try to stay away from super processed foods. Try to stay away from processed foods at all. And let me break this down, because some people don't even understand this. Processed foods, y'all, is food that's been through some type of heavy processing to where your body don't even recognize what that is. Lord, some done laid eggs on the elderberry. Let me throw that berry away. Anyway, y'all, when they take a cow and butcher it, they call that processing. Like when you get a deer processed, that's what they're doing. They're cutting it up and turning it into sausage, hamburgers, steaks, whatever, ribs. But that ain't the kind of processing. I ran into somebody and they thought that was the same thing, because they're going to tell me, well, steak been processed. I looked at their ass like they was crazy. That's not the same thing, y'all. When they just cut it off the cow, trust me, your body still knows that that's a steak. However, when you get them box potatoes, your body don't know what that is. That's sawdust that come in a sack. That's to me, that's unnecessary processing. Because if you can't borrow you some potatoes to make you some mashed potatoes, and I know this stuff is cheap, but a bag of potatoes ain't but $3, and you get way more potatoes in a bag of potatoes than you can with them old box potatoes. You see what I'm saying? Because we don't know what all they did to those potatoes to get them to do what they do, where you just add water and magically they potatoes. See, I don't trust nothing like that. Make sure y'all leaving that stuff alone. That stuff is killing folks. You know, various donuts and just, you know, a lot of stuff just heavily processed. Like they tell you, stay on the edges of the grocery store. That's where the meat, the dairy, the cheese, the more you go to that inside, what you find? Chips, honey bun, cookies, crackers, all that stuff that's been heavily processed. I ain't saying you're going to be flawless and never eat that stuff. Just don't eat it on the regular. And please don't get your kids hooked on that stuff. Because once they hooked, it's hard to get them unhooked. For instance, that high fructose corn syrup, it's hard to get your kids unhooked off of that. And if you know anybody giving their kids wine punch and anything else, y'all stop that. Stop that. That's out of order. Oh, that's a lawnmower backfiring. I wonder what that noise was. I kind of wonder if these elderberries repelling these mosquitoes a little bit. Because I promise you, I know they out here. But they ain't really fooling with me. And I'm really shocked. Because usually the longer I stay out here, the more these mosquitoes, baby, these mosquitoes don't be playing. These things will tote you away from here. But I know they still not as bad as they would be if they hadn't been spraying. I wish it was something else they could do about the mosquitoes. Y'all just don't understand. Like I said, in my neighborhood, so many people got containers of water in just different places. Y'all, these mosquitoes be rough. And yeah, mosquitoes part of nature, but I don't want West Nile. Y'all say what you want. I don't want West Nile. And you don't know which mosquito got West Nile. And you ain't gonna stop every last one of them from biting. Shoot, I'm good. I don't want Zika either. I don't want that. So I do understand. And I also understand this too. Some people don't have. Oh, he over here mowing the lot next door. Some people don't have access to go get off and things like that. Just because you don't have access to get repellent, and I know y'all gonna say, well, you can make you some repellent. That's true, but understand the people who I'm talking about that don't have access, y'all, they probably not looking up how to make no repellent. Because understand, it's a mentality that comes, I'm just doing too much. It's a mentality that comes with that. And so if you usually with poverty, you just trying to make it so doggone, you just trying to make it. You don't have a lot of extra energy to give to, let me look up and see how to make mosquito repellent. You don't have a lot more energy to do that. Not if you really struggling. If you really struggling and really, because see, some of these people want to make like they were struggling and they weren't really struggling. Like, understand this too. It's some people that choose to live in a project. My cousin, one of them. And you can tell by his attitude that he just choose to live in a project. Because he'll pop off and say anything. And when he be saying this stupid stuff, I be like, get up out the government, Negro, because it's my taxes paying your rent. You know, them the type of people who I wish would get that. I wish they'd put them off. You know, the people that honestly, they have made a conscious choice to be on government assistance. You know what I'm saying? And you often can tell by the way somebody talks. When somebody talks and just pops off at the mouth real quick, but then quick to tell you, oh, when I grew up in the project, Yeah, your people must really didn't have to be there. Because the stuff you saying sound real stupid. It's either that or, because a person came to mind, I ain't going to say who, but it's either that or you married to a white woman. And that might be what it is. Because I hate to say it, sometimes these people, they get married to folks and they take on their spouses. Like, they didn't have no ideas before they met them. And then once they get with them, they just take on their identity. Like, child, that's some bull. Don't take on my identity. I'm going to need you to be whoever you is when I met you. You start acting just like me. If I wanted to marry me, I would have found somebody just like me. It don't even make sense. But yeah, it's wild, you know, when people say the stuff that they say about things. Cause I just be looking cross-eyed at some people and the stuff they be saying. Whew, don't even get me started, y'all. Society makes me think in depth. And I wouldn't be surprised if y'all click off this video. Y'all probably be like, she doing too much and going too far. But yeah, society makes me think everything ain't perfect. But like I was saying though, people that really don't have access or don't have the money to buy off and things of this nature, because they money literally has to go on food and surviving. Y'all, I don't want them to get the Zika either. So it's kind of like I don't necessarily agree with the spraying. But if that means that somebody, you know, worse off than me, maybe if it's less mosquitoes and they won't get the Zika, you know. But I don't know. I wish they could find something else or do something else or whatever. But for right now, I guess that's what's available, you know. I guess that's what's available. And maybe we'll find some type of scientist or somebody who will figure out something with these doggone mosquitoes. Because like I said, you don't want to get the Zika. Order, what's the other one? The Zika. Malaria cases in America is so freaking low. You're probably not going to get malaria. West Nile. I don't know why I couldn't call that. I said it earlier. But yeah, I don't want people to get that. Those viruses, that ain't nothing to play with. So yeah, I don't want to get ate up. And I don't want other people to get ate up. Because see, also, baby, the mosquitoes, how they be attracted to me. You know, it's like the mosquitoes have a love affair with me. Whatever it is about my molecular makeup, they love it. And I know it's people out here that probably can't afford no off and stuff. The mosquitoes probably be all over them too. But I don't know. Maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe I just need to grow enough lemongrass and things like that, and maybe just start giving away the repellent. Could do that. See, these be the thoughts. When y'all be in y'all garden, do y'all be thinking about stuff? Or y'all just be in the garden? I mean, it's fine if you are, but my mind don't never stop. I be trying to think about ways I might could help. Because we're going to have to help each other. Ain't going to be no whole lot of people coming to our rescue. Ain't going to be no whole lots. And, cause these people, especially some of these rich folk that ain't got no souls, and I ain't gonna say all of them like that, cause all of them ain't like that. It's a lot of them. The ones that's uber rich and have lived their whole life with that privilege, they foolish. They foolish, some of them. Most of them probably. Because just anything to where they won't have to live without, you know. That's another thing, y'all. Storm season is coming. Y'all be making preparations. If you don't have any type of little backup battery supply, and it don't have to be nothing huge, at least get you something to where if some storms or something come, even if you just have enough little power supply, to run a heater or a fan. Y'all just don't understand. I'm telling you. A few years ago, my power went out for 3 days. Y'all, it was in the summertime. I ain't had no fan. My water bill went up 45%. Because when I tell you, I take a shower, it was so doggone hot and wasn't that breeze. The wind wasn't blowing nothing. Take a shower, sit down, and y'all know the way I sweat. Y'all done seen how the sweat bead up on me and be running off. Y'all, it be 2 or 3 hours, my clothes be wringing wet. I go get back in the shower, go get in that cool water, try to cool out some. Put some more clothes on. Go do the same thing. Sit down. Hope the power will come back on at some point. 2 or 3 hours, wringing wet. See what I'm talking about? Ain't nobody got time for that. I ain't doing that no more. I got me a little old thing where I can charge up, plug up, and if you do got your power supply and stuff, make sure that they full. The battery and stuff is full. You don't want something to happen and y'all stuff ain't. Ooh, get the hell off of me, babe. Bad that sucker will be. Anyhow, Jesus. But anyway, you don't want something happening. Your stuff ain't charged. See what I'm talking about? So check your equipment. Make sure it's all right. Because you never know what may happen. It may not even be no storm. Somebody may have a car wreck and knock out so much stuff. Or just whatever. It could be some trees. Trees and stuff done fell in my neighborhood before. And depending on where they fall and how many lines they take out, we be sitting over here in the dark. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie to y'all, baby. I've been researching these whole house backup power systems for my house. Huh. I think I know the latest and what the latest improvement gonna be. The next improvement is probably gonna be some backup power. I'm gonna wrench them off. It's a lot of berries down in there. I'm gonna wrench them off. Them things kind of nasty. Anyway, but yeah, y'all, I ain't playing. I'm gonna have me something to wear. When the power go out, everybody else gonna be looking foolish. And they're gonna say, how come my house still working? I ain't got time for the BS. I'm finna be prepared. And where I can break away from this grid. The sun shines too bright and too hard around here for me to not be able to break away from some of these powers that be. But y'all, I'm through with the elderberry. I got some stem in there I'm gonna pick out, but I ain't gonna pick that out with y'all on here. That's my pile. What I'm gonna compost. I see a few little berries over here. I didn't get every single one, but I did get the majority. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with me, y'all. And till next time, see you guys later.